My name is Jerome Courshon, film producer and distribution expert. There's a gamut of misconceptions that filmmakers have. One of the predominant ones is that distribution is extremely challenging and difficult. The reason most filmmakers think it is because they don't understand it. It's complicated. It's like a matrix or a labyrinth of all these things. When a filmmaker doesn't understand a subject, it just seems very massive and complicated. And what I do is break distribution down into the different markets and how to get into each of the markets. And once filmmakers actually understand at least a little bit about each of the markets and how it's not complicated, it's like a new life for them. There is this idea in the filmmaking community right now that DVD is dead or DVD is dying. And that's false. On a certain level, DVDs become a bit more challenging for the non-studio product. It certainly is. It's no longer any movie, any distributor can just throw a movie into the DVD market and expect it to do the consistent numbers that it always did in the past in revenue. It's not, but DVD isn't dying, it's not dead. It is decreasing a little bit each year, the revenues that are being made, but it's still, last year alone, it was still a $16 to $17 billion industry. That is a huge industry. It's the market that producers are generating the most revenue from. Despite a lot of brick and mortar stores going out of business, there are still thousands and thousands of brick and mortar stores. But we did lose Hollywood Video and Movie Gallery. Blockbuster has shed a number of stores, and Dish, having bought Blockbuster, are going to probably be closing some more stores, but at least as of yesterday or the day before, Dish has announced they're going to keep X number of stores. So that's an example of where somebody in the industry, some blowhard, says DVD is dying, and everybody picks it up, and it just ricochets throughout the industry and throughout the filmmaking community, and it's just bullshit. I'm not going to bash Netflix, but Netflix doesn't pay very much money for an independent filmmaker's film. They don't, you know, and right now, to get Netflix to pick up a filmmaker's movie or documentary on disc requires you to build up requests in a queue for your movie, because Netflix wants to transition and is transitioning from hard discs to online streaming. And they're doing that for a number of reasons. One, they don't want to spend $500 million a year on postage. It's much cheaper infrastructure-wise, and their profit margin increases if they only do streaming. So it's a business model, and they are attempting to shift the industry quicker than the industry is willing to go to a streaming model. Because the studios are making $16 to $17 billion a year on DVD, are not going to give up DVD. They're just not going to. To get a movie picked up on Netflix requires building up a queue of requests. They don't have to buy 10, 20 discs of your independent film, and they can service the entire country. At $10 a pop, $100, $200, $500, they've got your movie. You see no residual revenue, no revenue share, nothing, and now the entire country has access to your DVD. To me, for filmmakers, right now, Netflix is not the place to go, or it's one of the last places to exploit, unless you don't care about making money and you've made some movie, maybe a little movie, maybe your first, and you just want the exposure. And you want to be able to say, hey, my movie's on Netflix, check it out. If that's all that matters to you, fine, get it on Netflix. You're not going to make any money at Netflix.